Okay, welcome back to another week of Fads, the Fred and Doak Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Fred. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Dokes, / roommate. How are you doing, Dokes?
Not too bad, Fred. How are you doing?
Good. It's
How was your performance last week on Monday?
It was good. It was a good turnout. The soloists were good. We had a little orchestra, so that was fun. It was a volunteer type of deal. Actually, the entire chorus and orchestra was all volunteer, but they showed up though. It was good. So we did the Mozart Requiem, and that was nice. And then we also did the Cantique de Jean Racine, which is one of my absolute favorite choral pieces. I should have made that my pick of the week, actually. I should have made that my pick of the week, but no, it might be later on. But seriously, that's one of my absolute favorite choral pieces. So if you get a chance, if you're listening, it's on all the streaming devices. So listen to the Cantique de Jean Racine. It's beautiful. But yeah, it was good. It was a good turnout. It was extremely hot because it was in an old New England building. It was in Salem at the Old Town Hall.
What did you think about the facility? I know we talked about it before.
Well, it was fine. I mean, I just went to the we were just upstairs, so I didn't get to go through the museum portion that was downstairs. Mm-hmm. But it was fine though. I mean, I literally was just in the upstairs portion, and they had it set up for us. So, but it was nice though.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I think I was like, you might have to start that
Don't forget your card.
over again.
Why did you not hit record?
No, I didn't hit record. I didn't think I unmuted myself.
Oh.
Yeah, just quickly start over.
No problem.
I'm an idiot.
I moved the cord so you have more.
Thank you.
God. I hate going to the gym.
Oh, it's good for you.
Hate it.
It's good for us, man.
Yeah, well. Oh, this thing keeps coming off.
Yeah, it's okay. Just
Take two. And welcome back to another exciting week of Fast, the Fred and Doak Show. My name is Fred, and I'm sitting here with my co-host / roommate, Dokes. How you doing, Dokes?
not too bad, Fred. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's hot, but I'm making it.
How was your performance last week?
It was good. We did the Mozart Requiem with the Paul Medora Chorale in Salem at the Old Town Hall. So that was beautiful. And actually it was like a 2-bill concert, I guess. So they did the Mozart Requiem, and then they did the Cantique de Jean Racine, which is one of my absolute favorite choral pieces. So I stuck around and actually sang with them on that one. I love that piece. So but yeah, it was good. I had never been in the Old Town Hall before. It was not air conditioned, which was interesting because it was one of those really warm New England days. But the concert was at 8, so I mean the sun was going down. We had a little bit of breeze, and it was near-ish the water in Salem. I mean, Salem is basically near on the water anyway, but it was not too far inland. But so we got a little bit of the breeze coming off of the water. But it was nice. It was a good turnout. The soloists did great. It's a volunteer chorus and volunteer orchestra, so it was basically just show up and play or sing, and it was really, really, really good. We also had piano there as well to help fill out some of the parts. But yeah, it was great. It was my first Mozart Requiem, so that's one to put down the books. And so, yeah, it was good.
Awesome. My week is basically, since we're in the studio, the studio was shut down. So when we're, as of this recording, it's a Sunday. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff has happened, but reason why is we have upgraded our cameras and our studio equipment to HD.
Yay.
Which that really makes me more light skinned or ashy than I ever thought I was.
I feel like we need to have like a Price is Right Yeah, a little, da-da-da-da, a little, I don't know, something for your brand new equipment here.
Brand new equipment, and that basically took all of
A
last
new
week.
camera.
We've got a new camera. Come on down. And so we actually got we upgraded all our equipment, which took them about a week to do, and then that was pretty much it. And like for me, again, being the technical person, there are things like, hey, Robert, can you answer this question on how we want it set up? And part of what we're doing today outside of recording is you're helping me test the equipment.
Oh, good.
So that I know that I don't go crazy when my boss asks me a question and goes, why is it doing this? Well, this is the reason why. So that's
Cool.
awesome. So HD. But no, it's just been a pretty, outside of work, pretty calm week. I try to not do anything on the weekends, especially the last few days, because it's been hot as hell.
Yeah, I had a friend on Facebook post that it's really hot, and I was like, I would complain about the heat, but it's 103 in Louisiana, so
Yeah.
I am not going to complain about the heat.
So think about the fact that you live close to the equator. So if you live like places like Ecuador, and you golf, I have no beef anytime somebody, because I don't know anything about hot, because I've never lived in Louisiana. I just remember going to Miami one time, and then like the moment you get off the air,
Oh yeah,
the moment they have the sliding doors, and then you open the sliding doors open at the Miami International Airport, and then you just feel
it's
the
just
humidity.
sultry. Yeah, no,
It's like,
Louisiana is hot, but also Key West. Like I remember doing the Key West program, and it's just like you just don't want to move. Like even if like being outside like for a 5-minute walk, your entire body is drenched in sweat. It's just like it's like an oppressive heat that's just, and the humidity is almost like walking through like jail. it's just uncomfortable, and it's hot and it's horrible. So yeah, summertime is as great as it is to be, out of school and family vacations and theme parks and all that stuff. It's just the heat is just unbearable. So I guess our safety tip of the week is, stay hydrated and stay cool.
And stay cool.
Yes. So I guess we're going to jump right into it. So we'll start off with a little bit of national news. There's been a lot of national news lately because we're in an election cycle, so that's going on. But first, I guess we're going to touch on just very quickly. It seems like every week we go to the studio the past few weeks, there's been something going on with a shooting that involves policemen. And so the latest has been the shooting of Charles Kinsey by the Miami police. I guess the story is he's a caregiver to an autistic gentleman. I don't know if he works for a facility. He works for a facility.
He's a group therapist in a group home. And so he was locating one of the autistic gentlemen who was found him located in a truck, and he was approached by the police. He did everything that the police asked him to do. He calmly explained what his job was, and at the end, he still got shot. Now, the good thing is he is not dead.
Yeah.
So,
So the story that I've read recently that the police say is that they thought the autistic gentleman might have had a weapon and was going to assault him. And so they were aiming for the autistic gentleman. But my first thought is, why would you automatically shoot first and ask later? Like, why wouldn't you try to figure out what's going on instead of just firing? And then when the gentleman asked the cop why he shot him, the cop said, I don't know. And I'm like, how is that ever a thing?
That's not an answer you want to hear.
Yeah. So, so by the grace of God, this man lived, thank God. But still, though, it's like, the story just doesn't even seem like it adds up. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's another issue. And even if it is true that the police were shooting at the autistic gentleman, it's like, why would you shoot first and ask questions later? Like, why wouldn't you try to take the gentleman down? Like I'm sure when you're going, I've never been through training, and I don't I've never been a cop, but I would imagine you would want to de-escalate a situation before you pull out your gun. I would imagine that would be a priority. Unless they come back and say, oh, we perceived him to be a threat and we couldn't de-escalate the situation quick enough. I don't know what it is, but that just brings up another question about the police state of mind in this country. That's always a shoot first, ask later mentality, like judge, jury, and executioner.
It's like, why can't we just seemingly bring people in? And it's just like, the dude had to get shot. And if you look at the video, the guy was clearly explaining, I am a therapist. I work for this. He had his hands up. He is lying on the ground. The autistic gentleman who is playing with his truck is right next to him, and somehow this man gets shot.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I know police have a job to do, but come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's like, this is like the third week in a row that we're talking about this, and I just have no answer, man. It's just disappointing.
Yeah, so hopefully they get that situation figured out, and I don't even know what the like the last report I read, the police department was like, we feel very sorry and we wish Mr. Kinsey the best. I'm like,
that dude's about to sue you.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope you wish him more than just the best and give an apology. Like, that's
that dude is about to sue the pants off as he's gonna be, off of
and it sucks because it's not like the police department is like privatized, so it's like it's like, like who pays their salaries? Who do you think pays their salaries?
The taxpayers are going to end up paying. But
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So moving on to another event that happened. The Republican National Convention was this week, and there was a lot going on. So I guess one of the first big noticeable things was Melania and her speech. and I saw the speech, so I was watching the speech. I think it happened right when I got back from the gym, actually, and I was watching the speech, and I was on Twitter, and Twitter was talking about it, and they were talking about like how she was reading the teleprompter very well, and blah blah blah, and she had like poise under pressure, and this, that, and the other. Then I forget who the young gentleman was, and I wish I would have written his name down. But he discovered, I think it was a young gentleman, discovered that a lot of the talking points that she had were identical to Michelle Obama's speech. And was it 08 or was it 12?
2008. So we're talking.
So it was the 08. It was the 08 speech.
It was when the original elections.
Okay, I didn't remember which election it was. And it's like, and it's not just like some of the like, there's not like there's like a word or phrase here. There's like complete sentences verbatim in like 2 or 3 in a row that were like straight up just taken from Michelle Obama's speech. Now, granted, I'm sure she had a speechwriter, so I don't think Michelle Obama sat down and wrote the entire speech herself. But still, though, it's like, she gave the speech, so it's her speech. And so the internet just had a field day.
They went in. I especially like the ones like his, like, if you guys do not follow Fred on Facebook or Twitter, Fred has this one, like, retweets everything, and the Bring It On ones are by far.
That was the best one.
It's like, those are hilarious.
The Bring It On tweets, the Bring It On comparisons were probably the absolute best ones. And there's one where they have a side of her and her speech, and she says, and they were like, and she says, I would like to thank my 2 black daughters. Or she says, growing up a poor black child in Chicago. And then there's a speechwriter saying, not their part. Like, the internet just had a field day with it. Like, that's like the fun part of like social media. I mean, as take it how I'm sure if you're a Republican fan, you didn't really like that, but but it's just like, so something like this happens, and like it's so on the serious part of it, that was complete plagiarism, and that's a huge issue. And if you were in college or something somewhere, you would have definitely got kicked out of school for something like that. But
the staffer didn't get fired.
I know.
He did not fire her, which you're like, this is a major. It's like,
Well, so they had to pick somebody to take the blame. So, of course, there was one individual who took the blame for it. And I doubt she wrote that speech by herself. And so she said her story was she asked Melania like what her thoughts were, and she gave her some ideas or something like that. And she said that she didn't research them to see if they came from somebody else. And I'm like, girl, please, like that. No, you basically took the speech. I think what happened was it was probably one of those last minute things. They needed her to get up there and say something, and so they were scrambling, and they found this speech, and they thought if they didn't take the whole speech that they wouldn't get caught. But it's the internet, like of course you're gonna get caught. So yeah, so that happened. Trump announced his running mate, so that was interesting. Well, he announced him before the convention, which they usually do. So that was Chris Christie.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about Chris Christie.
Okay, so me being from New Jersey, I have
I keep forgetting he's
a mixed opinion about Chris Christie. Mm-hmm. There are things that I'm not gonna lie. There are things that he has done good for the state, and then and that's then there are idiotic soprano-like mentality which has not. So Bridgegate, which is still a current issue going on, and like, dude. So when you have a kangaroo court during the RNC, you should make sure that just make sure that nobody doesn't bring this up, because when you do end up in some public office, they're gonna bring you. Somebody's gonna say something.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, I feel sorry for him for two reasons. One, he got somehow somebody said you can't pick Chris Christie, and they gave him Mike Pence.
He probably wanted to, but I think that whole the Bridgegate situation is so new and still so fresh, and they haven't even completely wrapped that situation up.
They haven't
yet.
Wrapped it up. Everybody's gone. 3 of his aides have gone down,
and so that's the main reason why he didn't get picked, because he's still involved and implicated in that situation, and so they haven't cleared his name. So he couldn't have picked him with all this going on, because naturally you pick him and then it breaks that he was allegedly the mastermind behind it. Then it's like, oh crap, now what do you do?
Yeah. So if he goes down,
so he had to pick somebody else.
To have that kangaroo court style, it's like I thought it was a little ironic, or that should you be hoisted up on your own petard later, that will be. That'll be your thing.
Okay, and then Ted Cruz with his amazing
I'm gonna say he did give zero craps.
Yeah. He got up there, was giving his speech and rallying the troops, and they're like right behind him, and then he says basically, I'm not voting for this idiot. You shouldn't vote for him either. Good night. God bless.
Vote for the candidate that matches your conscience. And you're sitting here and then you could see the audience went in on him. They're like, endorse Trump, lying Ted. And you're like, I was like, okay, what?
Yeah. So it's interesting that there's still a lot of heavy hitters in the Republican Party that don't want anything to do with their nominee. It's just mind-boggling to me how this has played out. I just can't. When I remember when he first announced he was running, and everyone was like, ha ha, the reality TV guy is running for president. This will be a fun laugh for a few weeks and we'll get some jokes out of it. And now it's like, he's going to be on the ticket when we go to the polls and vote in November. We're going to have to actually vote for Trump or someone else. And I'm like, how did we get to this place? And the thing is I've got into a few, debates on Facebook. And the thing is after this whole debauchery, hopefully a lot of people in America are going to actually wake up and realize what the election process actually is in America and how these people come to power and what their power actually is. Yeah, there's just I listened to his speech because people are like, why are you even watching the RNC? Like, he's gonna say blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, you know what? I have to be, if I'm gonna be an informed citizen, like I have to watch these things. Like, I can't just say, oh, he's gonna say homophobic, anti-Islamic things, which he did, and just like sweep under the rug and go about my business and say, Democrat. Like, I can't do that. Like, I have to be involved in what's happening on both sides. And so I had to watch it. And it was astonishing me how he literally yelled the entire speech. He went over, I think, a little bit, but that's because there was so much applause. There's a video clip out of how much applause there was, how long the speech was, and how something else. And I think it's on Trump's Twitter page, and how much the people applauded for him and how much they loved him. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with policy. I don't that has nothing to do with policy.
It has nothing to do. I think the thing this one, he was a little. It was tamer than one of his more of his.
Oh, because he knew he had to, now that he's the nominee, he doesn't have to be as outspoken and off the book as he was in the primaries and stuff. And so there's been a few conspiracy theories out there that think that this was all a ploy just to get that the article that came out a while back that said, the Republicans are so dumb, I could run as a Republican and they'll vote for me and I'll win, blah blah blah. So there's a two train of thought. There's a train of thought that he actually might still be a Democrat and just trying to get in the White House, and he might actually do some good, which I don't think that's going to happen. Or there's another train of thought that's thinking he's going to be so vile and so just distasteful that they're going to vote for Hillary, and that he's actually a Hillary supporter. He's trying to get Hillary in the White House. That seems a little too far-fetched and a little too Game of House of Cards, Game of Thrones, saying whatever. It just seems like that's a little too crazy. But given what's happened, it wouldn't shock me.
No. I mean, I'm not going to say stranger things have happened. This is the strangest thing that has happened.
Yeah.
Like, Ronald Reagan running for president was one thing. He was an actor who actually went into politics after his career was over.
Yeah.
Trump has no political experience, which just scares the living piss out of me.
Mm-hmm. And I had a friend online that was like, well, if he does something really crazy, then they'll just impeach him. And he can't really do that much without Congress's approval. And he can't do this. I'm like, I see where you're thinking on a global scale, but I'm thinking about just the racist rhetoric that he's spitting at home day to day on a day-to-day basis. I have friends that are Muslim, and they're like, if this man becomes president, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to live in this country? Yeah. How in the hell am I supposed to live in this country?
Because the idea is, it's the people. One of the things of this, just to kind of wrap it up, to wrap up the Trump part about this, the issue for me is this: he can say things and not mean them. He can retweet David Duke. He can, talk about all these things and then quickly retract. But the idea is, you've already planted the seed and it's out there. And one of the things that I think that conservatives, or at least Republicans, have to understand is there is a general bigoted, xenophobic, racist side to the party that supports that.
Yep. And he's feeding it.
And so if you don't want to be known by that, then it's like, we're the party of this. And it's like, all right, other quick news here, just really to wrap this up. So guess who he hired as his African-American outreach coordinator?
Which, that title alone.
Yeah, okay. So.
Oh my God.
That is problem one.
If you don't know, it's Omarosa.
It's Omarosa. So if you know who Omarosa is and know her history with The Apprentice, there you go.
And the black community in general.
It just, there you go.
Yeah.
And so it's not a bad thing. It's just, man, it's like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
The good thing out of this is there has been some really great late night television.
Yeah. Jon Stewart made his triumphant comeback, which I love it. At the same time, though, I feel like it's overshadowing The Nightly Show and Noah and all the other people that are out there doing really funny, innovative bits, because Jon Stewart is Jon Stewart. He's proven and he's a pillar, and it was great, and it was funny, and everybody loved his commentary, and it was amazing. He went on Stephen Colbert's show, and I mean, they were friends. I mean, we get it, but I kind of wish he would have like went back to his old show, kind of, sort of. But I mean, it's fine.
Well, I think the big thing is this: if you saw like the start of Monday, on Monday, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert started out with him actually returning to his Stephen Colbert persona that he used to have on the Colbert Report.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And so he did that, and then a couple of days later, which he got Jon Stewart, which you knew that was coming. It was like, oh, now I have my platform. And then Jon Stewart was like watching watching The Daily Show.
Yeah.
Now, I did watch The Daily Show afterwards because Trevor Noah was also very poignant on terms of like, it's like he's like just trying to explain what's going on, and he kind of did a mock thing with Chris Christie's Kangaroo Court.
And it's interesting to have his perspective as someone that's not an American citizen to like see that, just to get his perspective from like what's going on over here, because it's like
because I mean like it, and that's why I enjoy watching. If you've ever seen his comedy, if you've ever seen this stuff, because he's from South Africa. You know, and if, one of his things is still on Netflix. I'm forgetting. Watch it. It's so interesting to see his take on this country, and as well as coming here now and being a host of a day, like where he's watching politics on an everyday basis, which Jon Stewart is still involved in. And it's Jon Stewart's still involved in a lot of the show. So even he executive produces The Daily Show, The Nightly Show, the one that.
Yeah, it's not like Jon Stewart's just sitting at home in his Malibu home, just lounging by the pool. Like, he's retired from the host portion of it, but he's still very much involved. Yeah.
And so he's still going to make his money.
Yeah.
But Trevor Noah was like, you have this. And I would have preferred to see him on The Daily Show because it would have been appropriate, but I think he did not want to take that away from
Trevor. Yeah, because that would have been a whole nother... That would
have been something that was not good. And so to do it, and I was kind of surprised because my reaction was that the CBS allowed this to kind of happen because they are as conservative as it gets when it comes to television. That is their key.
They knew that, but they also knew ratings gold. So it's like as much as conservative as they are, they're like ratings equals money.
On the outtake of this, because also, in the news is that Fox News' Roger Dials, the head, has been dismissed, and you can't.
Didn't he technically step down, quote unquote?
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who has basically developed the Fox News agenda, which has given us all this wonderful programming of. There is just no way to combat what Fox does.
Yeah.
Fair and balanced is a lie, but it's just it's fairly slanted towards one way.
There was one. Oh, who was I watching? Was it Stephen Colbert? There was one where they did it might have been Jon Stewart actually, where they compared. I think it was a Fox News guy, like what he didn't like about Obama, and then he compared it to like everything he said he hated that Obama did. Trump is doing the exact same thing, and he was like, so.
It's like it's because he if you've seen Jon Stewart before, like he has a thing against Sean Hannity from the Fox. Like it's a real thing where, and he says like, let's call him. I haven't done this in a while, and I can't remember his name, so let's call him Lumpy.
Yeah.
And so he's talking about the contortion or the gymnastics that conservatives now have to do in order to endorse Trump. And so the things that he was talking about, Obama and the teleprompter, he's like, he sleeps with the darn teleprompter, and you're like, really? And so we talked about Trump's speech and literally, he stayed on teleprompter, and it's like, really?
And he's like commending him for it. Interesting.
So this is probably the most. What I'm about to say is I realize I'm really not rude on this show, but all right, you took out his dick and you just basically just.
Yeah, we got it.
Just all sloppy and messy.
Yeah,
with the money shot. So that's just what just happened.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be fun, and Monday starts the Democratic National Convention, and that is looking like a mess now because of WikiLeaks. because WikiLeaks, I don't know if it literally just came out today where WikiLeaks leaked a whole bunch of emails, which is basically kind of interesting because it's all about the Democratic National Convention staffers saying, well, they're trying to get Bernie Sanders not to do things because, but his information leaks, so all the emails basically are supporting what his supporters said, which is they don't want him there, blah blah blah, and it's going to split the party, and they're trying to bring the party together. And you're like,
I knew that was going to happen. So here's my thing with Bernard, because everybody's been asking me. A lot of my Facebook friends have been asking me. So when he first announced he was running, of course, like everyone else, I looked and read all his stuff, and I was like, this is great, this is awesome. But deep down inside, I was like, he's not going to be the nominee. I feel like even his core supporters knew he was not going to be the nominee. I feel like some of them probably really thought that he was going to make it because he had all this money and all this traction. But I think a lot of them knew it was going to be a really, 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 really hard fight for him to be the nominee. And so I kind of knew that initially. And there were some things that I loved about his platform, and I was like, and I always thought this would be great if Hillary becomes nominee, she adopts, some of these ideas into her platform. That'd be awesome, because I think at the core of it, Bernie Sanders really wanted to get the people to realize that the two-party system, which has been extremely problematic for so long, needs a radical change, a radical reform, and that Wall Street needs a radical change, radical reform, and so I agree with all of those things, and so I think he's rallied enough people that have a voice now that are saying, hey, the Democratic Party needs to adopt these things and needs to acknowledge these issues, and I think they are. Now, Hillary is probably going to get in office, and she's not going to do everything she says. Nobody ever does everything that they're going to say when they get in office, because the presidency is not a dictatorship. It doesn't work like that. They can't just,
Yeah, we seem to think it.
Yeah, they can't just wave their scepter in the air.
Obama gets blamed for everything. It's like everybody blamed Bush for all the problems. Obama got it's like Congress for me is the chief issue.
Yeah, exactly. And so and I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a lot of seats that are going to be up. For elections. So we need to be looking at who is in Congress representing us and who we're going to be voting for, because that is where, all of you need to go to YouTube and look up Schoolhouse Rock and need to look up I'm Just a Bill and figure and reteach yourselves how things work.
Civics is a wonderful thing. Learn how your government works, even on a municipal level.
Yeah.
And if you know what municipal is, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't want to pander and make fun of people, but seriously, I feel like we learn these things in school, and then and then we get out of school, and if we're not in politics and we don't think about it every day, we only think about these things during the election, and so we need to think about these things more than just every 4 years or when there's an election cycle for Senate. And so we need to think about all of these things, and so. So back to my Bernard Sanders issue. So I like Bernard Sanders. I really do. I mean, I like some of what his platform is. I don't know him personally. I just feel like he didn't literally just come out of the woodworks, but I never really got fully on board with him. And it's always been an issue for a lot of Black people that have been I'm not anti-Bernard, but it's been an issue for people that are Black that are more pro-Hillary than they are Bernard. And we've always felt like we have to defend our Blackness sometimes, which is complete and utter bullshit. But because I like to think of myself as a somewhat educated Black man in America. And so I'm not blind. I know the issues that Bill Clinton has and some of the policies that he implemented and the horrible things that he's done for my community. And I know that Hillary, while she was first lady, she didn't really have any power. I know she was right there supporting her husband. I understand there's a lot of economical things that have happened under while she's been in her career. And I know there's a lot of economical things that happened since Barack Obama's taken office. I understand that, and we realize that, and I know that, and I've acknowledged those things, and I see that. But at the heart of it, I see someone that has changed her policies, someone that has changed some of her stands, just like Barack Obama. When he first got into office, there was a lot of things that he necessarily wasn't willing to do for us, especially in the world of social justice issues. And he completely changed his mind, changed his policy over time, because you know what? We're humans and we grow and we learn, you know? And so I don't think Hillary Clinton is like the evil blue-eyed devil that some of the people in the community want to make her out to be. I don't think she's going to be our savior by any stretch of the imagination. But when I'm thinking of someone that has the legislative experience, someone that can sit at the table with the world leaders, someone that understands the stresses of the job, someone that's been in the situation room when tough decisions had to be made, she's been there, so she has that experience. So I guess I'm going a little bit off of experience from that side of it, and I also see someone that is going to champion equal rights for everyone over, the GOP nominee, definitely.
Well, I mean, like, all right, so we're going to go back to this real quick. What did you think about his last, and this is where it was on the teleprompter, it's like, we need to protect our LGBTQ thing. Do you think he was pandering to that?
Definitely. He couldn't even remember the term. Like, he had to stop in the middle of it. I mean, granted, they keep adding a lot of they have added quite a few letters to the acronym, and so I still say LGBT a lot of times, just because it's just I don't mean to exclude anyone. It's just the way that I learned it, and there's just a lot of acronyms, and so I just feel like that, or LGBTQ, I guess, could be the whole official. I don't even know what the official acronym is, but no, he doesn't. He probably is in a situation where he's probably indifferent. Mm-hmm. He probably doesn't wish any ill will or malice toward the community, but I don't think he's really trying to champion for the community either. I think it's one of those things that he's like,
considering the platform, and the idea is that was an argument where, I mean, like, a lot of things where people see the political platform, marriage equality was not one of those things on there for the Republicans this year. And we run into these issues, and it's just like, it's the pandering, and I understand where he's trying to come, because it's about party unity and trying to bring it, but again, realize who you're talking to. Realize what your audience is.
Exactly. I don't think he is gonna try to keep them from getting married per se when we talk about marriage equality, but I don't think he's really an advocate for marriage equality either. I think he's very indifferent on the issue. He's like, I feel like he's one of those people that, like, if it's not going to affect me and my money, then I really don't care what you do. I feel like that's literally his stance on issues like that. That's how I honestly feel. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the DNC this week. And
there's going to be drama.
And since Hillary picked her new mate, which nobody knew who he was and had to read up on him. The more I read about him, the more he seems like he was a good choice. He was definitely a safe choice, but I can see him being a really good choice. I knew she wasn't going to pick Bernard Sanders. Like, no, that was never going to happen. I knew she wasn't going to pick Elizabeth Warren, just because it would have been great, but this country was barely ready for a black president. They're barely ready for a woman president. There's no way they're going to pick a woman president and a woman VP. There's just no way. And then Elizabeth Warren still has a lot of issues that she has to work out with her public persona. As much as I love her, there's a lot of things that needs to happen before she can be thrust into that. I think
given what she goes through here in the state of Massachusetts, and I mean, like,
Yeah. If you were in Massachusetts during that election, that was, So anyway, so we'll be back next week to talk about talk about the DNC, and that'll be super fun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, or do you want to keep going through our news outlet? I guess we can keep going.
Let's keep going.
So I guess we're gonna go jump to Twitter for a second. I guess we were talking about a little bit. Leslie Jones had some issues on social media. Someone apparently started a fake, I don't know if they started, I think they started a fake account, or they just like copy and pasted some very negative, horrible, like racist things.
Oh, dude, did.
And then they posted it on there as if she did them. And you can pretty much always tell when someone has done a copy and paste thing on Twitter and retweeted it. And they also, so there's also like little things like they like the way that Twitter does their likes now with their versus with their hearts, and now they don't use like so there's been. And I mean, you can look on there and tell. Anyway, it was a whole thing that started, and Leslie Jones figured, oh, I'll just clap back at him, which is what some celebrities do, and that's fine.
Yeah, she did the best that she
could, but
they went in.
I don't think she spent enough time on Twitter to realize that you can only clap back so hard unless you have like a team, a PR team that's like combating it, and I'm gonna wrap around that when I talk about Miss Taylor Swift. So Milo, whatever his last name is a super conservative, extremely racist guy. Apparently, I didn't even know who he was, and he's been banned from Twitter before for I don't know if they're calling it bullying, but for getting his hordes of followers. He has a ton of followers to like attack people. And so he had all of his people attack Leslie Jones, and they were like attacking her hard. I mean, like it was like sickening and very saddening and upsetting what they were tweeting this woman. Like it was horrible. It was just horrible. They were comparing her to Hombre, like it was
Harambe, yeah.
It was just horrible. Yeah. And so Twitter banned him. And so there's been an issue about, free speech. And it's like, yes, we understand the freedom of free speech, but at the same time, free speech doesn't mean free of consequences, And so there's a certain thing in the Twitter terms and conditions and their bylaws and things. And like he like maliciously went after this woman. And like people are crazy enough out there that they could have actually like started stalking her and doing her like bodily harm, which is horrible, which I don't think Milo in his brain realized that could have been an issue, or he might have thought that and thought, well, that's just what's going to happen, I guess, And so he got banned from Twitter, and there were a lot of people that were upset about it, and they were pissed off, and they were like, why is he banned? And freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, no, you can't send thousands of people to attack someone and expect it to just be all good, and the next day you just go on about your business. Like, that's just ridiculous, No,
I mean, the idea of freedom of speech does not mean free to run your mouth without feeling
like consequences.
Yeah. And so it's like when we see what happens in the world when somebody says something off the cuff, or runs off at the mouth, or pops off, or whatever you want to say. Somebody's got something for you. And he got, in this particular case, because he said he used some other form of Facebook as well. Twitter's killing my, my right to free speech. Mm-hmm. No, they're killing your right to not, they're not killing your right to free speech. They're killing your right to maliciously hurt somebody and call, your words are hurting people. And you need to think about that. You need to think about what you're doing, who you're speaking to, because it's the same thing. Again, we talked about it before. What Trump does, he may retweet something and he may take it back, but the reality is out there.
Yeah.
And the internet and the people on the internet, particularly, have a view and a compunction. I don't know if they have compunction to follow through on certain actions, and they will go in on anybody. And even outside of that, some people will take it a step further.
Yeah. Well, the good news is a lot of people came to Leslie Jones' defense and started tweeting out love for Leslie. And it was an outpouring of love and support from celebrities and her fans and the Ghostbusters team. And it was just an amazing opportunity just to see, Twitter come together in that aspect and just like show her love and support. So that was fantastic. So love to Leslie Jones. I remember her like if you ever watched Comic View on BET, coming at you 6 nights a week if you know the theme song. So she's been at this for a long time, and she's on Saturday Night Live, and so love to definitely hashtag love to Leslie Jones. She's fantastic. I haven't seen Ghostbusters yet, and I keep saying I'm going to go see it. And I really will go see it because I really want to support. And
I did see it.
I've heard she's really good.
She's really like I'm not going to crap on the movie, but the Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, meh. Her name is escaping me.
Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon.
And Kate McKinnon are the best, and Chris Hemsworth are the best part.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Everyone keeps saying that, out of all the, I guess, real quote unquote realistic or human storylines. Like Leslie is the one that has that
Yeah.
I guess you can like see yourself in her, I guess, sort of a deal. So definitely go see Ghostbusters. I'm gonna go see it, and then we need to have like a show where we like recap movies of the summer. But anyway,
we'll make it happen.
and so moving on, we'll go to Comic-Con. Is Comic-Con still going on technically?
It's going on.
Is today the last day?
So today's the last day at Comic-Con.
Okay.
Man, it's Nerd Christmas.
Yeah, so Comic-Con is always, this is one in San Diego.
Yeah, this is the
Comic-Con, yeah. So it's always a huge deal, and this is where, we get tons of spoilers for movies and comic books and TV shows and everything, and the stars come together, and it's awesome. And they usually drop their trailers for upcoming shows and upcoming movies, and they have been dropping some gems. So one of the first things I remember that caught my eye really was the Wonder Woman trailer dropped, and it looks like it's going to be actually pretty good. I mean, the thing about Wonder Woman is that, and we said it before, if the Wonder Woman movie fails, they're not going to blame the writers, they're not going to blame the team, they're going to blame Wonder Woman. They're going to blame the actors in the movie, and that sucks that she's going to get blamed for it if it fails. I think hopefully they have learned their lesson from BVS, and we're going to get a really good story.
Well, that's it. We'll find out.
The trailer looks like it's going to be really good. I'm interested to see. So this is definitely an origin story for her, but I'm interested to see if they're gonna just keep it an origin story, or if it's gonna be one of those things where like I'm imagining something like her and Batman are like talking, and she tells a story, and then she like tells her story. I'm imagining something like that happening, because it looks like they've. I see what DC is doing because they're trying to catch up to Marvel, by any means necessary, and so they keep they have like basically all their movies coming out at once to support the Justice League movie.
Yeah, did you see the trailer for that?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
It looks really good, actually. Although they did not show Superman, and I'm hoping they don't pull an X-Men and like have something where like they get in a bind, and then all of a sudden Superman shows up and saves the day. I'm really hoping they don't do something like that.
It's a given that he's going to be third act, because even outside of that, there's the Green Lantern Corps, which they haven't talked about.
Yeah, and are they fighting Darkseid? Is that the big?
No, they're fighting Steppenwolf.
Oh, okay.
So Steppenwolf is supposed to be the big bad for this film, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the Wonder Woman trailer looks really good. I'm really hoping that they really show us like really badass females really taking control and really doing it, because that's the one thing that I think Marvel has been lacking. They don't have a woman that has headed a movie before, and so if DC gets this right, that's gonna be, everybody's gonna be looking at Marvel and being like, so what was that about? But like, Marvel does have Ms. Marvel coming out.
Yeah, and they got Brie Larson for that.
Yeah, which that was the rumor that she was gonna make.
I think it's confirmed.
Yeah, it is confirmed, but that was the rumor before she actually confirmed it herself. Yeah. And so I feel like that might have been a little reactionary instead of being proactive. I feel like Marvel was like, oh shit, DC's coming up with a woman superhero, so now we have to come up with a superhero. And it's like these women have been sitting there the whole time. Like
Miss Marvel has been on their list to do for a while.
Yeah.
But the problem is again, it's trying to do the right casting. And so it's not that they don't want to, like, look with Black Panther.
Well, that, and also they have a clear plan of what they want to happen.
Yeah.
And Marvel has been hitting the marks every single time, and so they don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, it's like, and that's a good thing, because they're not being reactionary, but they're like, we have a plan.
Yeah,
let's stick to the plan.
And the thing is, like, Marvel, and we get impatient, but at the same time, we're like, well, shit, Marvel hasn't let us down yet, so it's like we have to wait and see what they're going to do, because they always do something great, But Marvel has, like, I would say out of the two people that dominated, I would say Marvel probably. I don't know. The Justice League movie looked like it's going to be really good. They didn't show Superman, but that's fine.
What did you think about Jason Momoa's Aquaman?
It's going to be interesting to see. I was a little put off by it at first.
Really?
When they first announced it, but now that I've actually seen the few clips that he's in, I'm like, okay, this might be kind of badass, actually.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle him in Atlantis, and like how they handle the whole underwater live action thing.
We'll find out.
That'll be interesting to see how they do that. But yeah, no, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be good. One thing I kind of hate is that I wish oh shit, Ben Affleck wouldn't try to do like the Batman voice. He does the Batman voice sometimes. Like in the trailer, he was doing the Batman voice as Bruce Wayne. I'm like, Batman doesn't do the Batman voice as Bruce Wayne, so that's weird. But and the Batman voice in general is just weird. But
well, it's just like it's not like it's so. I think they learned from Christian Bale, which was don't have a guy do contort his voice and hurt his voice to try to make something happen.
Yeah,
and so somebody said, but we're not asking Ben Affleck to do that. So we're gonna make they made the voice box so they can do the Batman voice. It's like so you are real. I'm real when it.
And I'm like, I would just be like, just don't do the Batman voice. Yeah. Like,
just don't
do the Batman. We don't need the Batman voice. It's fine. Yeah, no, but Wonder Woman, I'm extremely excited for because I mean it's freaking Wonder Woman. Like, how can you not be excited for Wonder Woman? I mean, it's Wonder Woman. Everybody loves Wonder Woman. Gay, straight, male, female, young, old. Everybody loves Wonder Woman. Like, they just love her.
Yeah. So for me on the DC side of things, I was interested in. I wanted to outside of the movie aspect. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the TV show, so I wanted to know how that was going to work. How are we going to come back to Flash?
Yeah.
The Flash season 2 after that.
Yeah, I'm still watching season 2, and DirecTV has not fixed their deal, or whoever hasn't fixed their deal with, I guess, so Channel 7 or some of the NBC and WB affiliates haven't worked out the deal with DirecTV. And so I've been recording season 2 Flash and the reruns, but since they don't have the channel option right now, I've missed like 2 episodes. So now I'm like stuck until they put the whole season on Netflix. Hopefully they will, and then I'll just binge it. But I'm actually liking season 2 Flash.
It's a really good show, and Arrow kind of fell off this season, and so I want to see how they recover from that. Suicide Squad comes out 2 weeks in like 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that.
I've been seeing some of the new trailers that have dropped. It has got me a little more interested in it. It was one of the movies I was like, I'll wait till it comes out, but I think I might actually go see it though.
I'm waiting. I'm gonna be happy about that. The other issue was that the Wonder Woman trailer really had me intrigued. Mm-hmm. The Justice League, the little reel they put together, made it look really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to that.
The only thing that really sucks is that the only character that makes me, I'm sure the actor they have playing the Flash in the movie is going to be great, but it's like in the back of my mind, I'm still going to be envisioning the TV show Flash, and he's just such a perfect Flash, and I'm like, crap,
Grant Gustin, and I mean that scene where they had that interaction, that was nice. But again, I think one of the problems I have with DC is they give too much away, and I felt like when I watched the trailer, they kind of gave a little too much away. And so,
the Justice League, or
the Justice League trailer, I felt they gave a little. And the sizzle reel, I felt like that maybe something ends up on the cutting room floor. Okay. But it's like stop. Yeah.
I think they've learned their lesson from BVS, because they literally gave us all the greatest moments in the fight sequences they gave us in the trailer, and so in the movies we're like, oh, so that's literally what we thought was going to happens. Yeah. So I think they learned their lesson. So hopefully what they showed us is only a snippet of what the action is going to be.
So we'll figure it out. I think for me the big thing also from coming from Comic-Con was, again, just along the lines of what Marvel was doing. So. Luke Cage
trailer.
Oh, no. Just not just the trailer. So I've watched every interview on the internet with Mike Coulter.
It's gonna be lit. Lit is an understatement.
So this is one of those things as a black guy, I have been looking for strong black characters, and this is probably going to be that character that I'm looking forward to the most. I'm not talking about Black Panther. We're not talking somebody that really you can identify with on a personal level, because the way they've described this show is, and the way I look at it is, it's The Wire. If you love The Wire, and now you have superheroes.
That's what everybody keeps saying. And we all know Netflix Netflix is not scared to go there.
You have that. Yeah. And so the actors that they have, Alfred Woodward, the guy who was on the 4400 that I can never
I can't think of his name.
Never pronounce his name correctly. But he's one.
Miss Simone Missick is Misty Knight, which I'm so excited about. I'm so excited.
Such a good cast, and the guy Chris Coker, the showrunner and executive producer of this program, said this is like it's a hip hop soundtrack, golden age hip hop. If you saw the trailer, they went with ODB, and that was like a scene out of Daredevil, and it's just like that whole fight sequence. It's like he's going into this project, and he's taking care of business. And with that soundtrack, it's gonna.
Luke Cage is gonna be. It's gonna be great. Yeah, they announced. Yeah. So what else happened? So they also announced the Defenders.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen. I think now once we get and we saw the full Doctor Strange trailer, like the actual not the teaser one, and that looks. I'm really interested in it. I think they're gonna have to. I think with the Defenders coming up, they're gonna have to acknowledge somehow the MC universe, like the movie version. They're gonna have to, because now you're gonna have these 4 superheroes on the ground fighting as a team, and they're gonna have somebody's gonna make the comparison to the Avengers, or they're gonna wonder if they're the Avengers. And we also have the introduction of the Synovia Accords too now, and so I'm sure that's gonna play a big part into them.
Look at this. Did you see the trailer for Iron Fist? Or like the beef? And so again, Loris Tyrell is not dead.
Well, he is, but
he's dead. But he is on the Iron Fist, and it was like it got me intrigued. So it's going to be interesting. Again, that looks like an awesome cast. I enjoy the casting that Marvel does for these shows.
And Ghost Rider is going to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's going to be. I would have never saw that. Yeah, I thought they were going to save him for like Daredevil. I honestly thought they were going to save him for Daredevil or Elektra.
They still have the option because it's not the Johnny Blaze one. It's the Robbie Reyes.
Oh, okay.
It's the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, which is a fairly new one. So he doesn't ride a motorcycle. He's in a car.
But those universes are together though, so if they go with him on the show, they're gonna, if they represent the movie in the Netflix movies or the movies, like they're gonna have to use the same.
We still have to get Adrian Palicki being Mockingbird somewhere else. I mean,
well, she has supposedly she has her, but they're developing a show for her.
Yeah. So we have to see that. We don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. That, and then we have more Black Panther news. Ryan Coogler's talked about it. Michael B. Jordan's talked about it. So this Marvel is
all the people that were rumored in it are definitely in it, including Danai, and I cannot pronounce her last name. She's Michonne from True Blood from Walking Dead. Yeah, she's in it. Apparently, she's the head of the Dora
the guard.
Yeah.
Move or you will move.
Which is gonna be amazing. Yeah, I cannot. With Black Panther is shaping up to be really good. Don't let us down, Marvel. Please don't let us down.
Even outside of this, I think when it comes down to this, and this is why I'm interested in Luke Cage, I think that sets the tone, because where Marvel has to be somewhat has to be a little more, not campy, but the Black Panther movie has to be lighthearted. It's not.
Oh yeah, because it's part of the Disney brand. Yeah,
but on television on Netflix,
because I mean, as dark as Winter Soldier was, there were definitely moments.
Yeah,
not Winter Soldier. Civil War. As dark as Civil War was, there were definitely lighthearted moments, especially in the fight scene. There were moments that were
lighthearted. This is like this
because I mean it's Disney, so they're gonna have to. But I mean, this is also the same company that killed Bambi's mom and Mufasa. So I mean, I don't know how lighthearted you can get.
Well, it's lighthearted, but it's like that moment. So I mean, there's other things that can't happen. I know we're talking about comics, but there was the trailer for Kong Skull Island with Samuel L. Jackson, which looks like. So, quick thing here, Samuel L. Jackson, love you to death, bro. There are certain movies I just
getting that check. Getting that check. Oh, I saw the secret. The Guardsman was the movie?
The Kingsman?
The Kingsman, yes. I saw it finally.
You saw it? Yeah. What'd you think?
It's
his over the top. His over the top Russell Simmons impression. Because that's what that dude is. That was an over the top Russell Simmons impression.
I was like, halfway through the movie, I was like, wait, is this really about global warming? I was like, this is legitimately about global warming. I was like, what the hell? Yeah.
And it was like, it's like that was a sleeper hit, and they're coming out with a newer version of it, which has Channing Tatum. You're never going to see that Gambit movie, folks. You're just never going to see it.
I'm okay with it. I think I speak for everyone, especially Louisianans, when we say if we can get a movie with Gambit with a decent Louisiana accent, that'll be great. And we just don't feel like Channing Tatum's gonna do it to him. As beautiful as he is, and as great as he is as an action star, and he's a great dancer, I just didn't see him giving us a good Gambit accent. He might have been decent in the movie, but I don't. And then Gambit is just so I don't know. Hopefully they'll work that out. But yeah. That was my biggest complaint on True Blood with Tara, who I forget the actress's name, who I love her to death, but that accent, my God, I was like, girl, nobody from Louisiana talks like that. Like, I don't know where she got that accent from.
But yeah, so they also had the stuff for the Walking Dead.
I would say we just like we all know who's gonna die. Like even those of I haven't even read the graphic novels, and I know who dies. Like who Lucille kills, or who Gavin, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Lucille's the bat's name. Anyway, I know, like, we know who dies in the book. And while True Blood, I keep saying True Blood, while The Walking Dead doesn't.
There's a conspiracy. I think Fred wants True Blood to come back.
I keep saying True Blood because whenever somebody dies on the show, now I say they met the true death. But yeah, so like we know like who dies, and Walking Dead usually tends to like they might still make a character die in the same way, but they just don't have that character die. Like for instance, when the doctor died with the arrow in her eye, I heard that it was another character that actually died with an arrow in her eye. It wasn't that particular person. So Walking Dead has done that before. But I just think they jumped the shark with the whole Glenn under the garbage can thing, and I mean, not to put any spoilers out there, but I'm sure you've all read the conspiracy theories, and I'm sure you've all read online like who dies in the comic book, and we all know who's going to die on the show. Like, and the thing is, when he does die on the show, it's not going to be as powerful and as impactful as it should be, I think, because they like beat him up, or they started killing him at the end of last season and didn't let us see it. So like now we're going to have to go through this whole grieving process, and it's just going to be weird. So I don't know. And I could be completely wrong, and they could kill Daryl because he's technically not even in the story in the comic books anyway.
Yeah, he wants to actually be Ghost Rider, the Johnny Blaze.
So that could also happen too. So we'll never know. But yeah. And if you are fans of Once Upon a Time, like I am, they're actually doing Aladdin this season. I'm so excited about it. So they gave us a snippet of Jafar and Aladdin. So that was super fun. Jafar was riding carpet. So I'm really excited for that. The Evil Queen is back, which as much as you hate her, like she's just so good. You just those outfits are just, those outfits are perfect.
So do you think that they I'm about to make another tasteless joke. It's like, so this takes place in Storybook, Maine, I guess. Storybook, Maine. It takes place in Maine.
Yes. Are they back in Maine?
You have Arab characters.
Well, the snippet that they showed us, they were actually in Agrabah, I think. So I don't know if they're going to do something where like they travel to Agrabah, because they do play with traveling to these different lands. Like when they introduced Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like they went somewhere else to introduce those characters. And they've also been in New York City before, so they might actually have to travel to Agrabah for this one.
Okay.
Because apparently Aladdin is a savior, but we already have a savior, so I don't know how that storyline is gonna play out. So yeah, but it's interesting though. And the actor, I forget the actor's name who's gonna play Jafar, but the minute I saw they were doing Jafar, I was like, I wonder if they're gonna get that guy. And then when they showed his face, I was like, yep, that's exactly who I thought it was gonna be.
Is it the guy that was in Game of Thrones? Was it
was he in Game of Thrones? Oh, the original guy that Khaleesi was having sex with, him. And they changed the actor like literally in the middle of the show. I think I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It's green. So so if it's I don't watch Once Upon a Time. It's not to say I don't like it. It's not to say that I don't like it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Yeah. And so, yeah. And then I guess one last thing to wrap up. They haven't showed us anything that's going to happen on Supernatural, but they are filming. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen this year because we know who God is now. And God has definitely been on set. The actor that plays God is on set. So he's definitely going to be in the storyline somewhere because God and his sister Darkness went off somewhere to repair their relationship. But God brought back the Winchester's mom. But apparently the Winchester's mom, like, we don't know if she was technically in hell, but we know she technically was in heaven because they never saw her, so we don't know where she's been. So that's going to be interesting. And then Sam has been shot and kidnapped, we think, and taken overseas by the Men of Letters. It's just a lot going on Supernatural. So if you're a Supernatural fan, we're really excited about that. I think that's it. Oh, there's a great show. We might have talked about it last week on Netflix called Stranger Things.
I have not seen it yet.
So good.
Okay.
So good. Go watch Stranger Things. It's amazing.
I will definitely.
Stranger Things. Between came back this season 2. It ended kind of meh, which I kind of expected that because the first season ended kind of meh. But it's, I don't know. Between was good. Stranger Things, though. Stranger Things was really good, yeah.
I will go watch.
Yeah, if you're like a sci-fi 80s fan, it's kind of like an homage to like Steven Spielberg, and like the soundtrack is really good, and they mentioned the Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it's just a really, 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 really good show. So yeah, so go watch that. And apparently the Killing Joke is getting
I'm getting to go see that.
Extremely mixed reviews.
I get to see that tomorrow.
Oh, I really want to go see the Killing Joke. So that'll be. I'm interested to hear what you think about it because Twitter has not been kind. So we'll see. Yeah, so with that, we'll take a quick break and we will be right back.
So Recital Hour, what do we have this week?
So this week, I don't think I've talked about this before, and if I have, I apologize, but this is just one of my absolute favorite arias, and I might have talked about this before. I hope I didn't, but if I did, go listen to it again. This week, we have the video. This is going to be actually an artist. A particular artist, Jesse Norman, and this is her YouTube video, which if you follow me on Facebook, I've posted this a ton of times, but this is the aria from Samson et Delilah, and it's her Mon cœur s'ouvre à ta voix. And it's the YouTube video where she's in, like, I think the floral print gown thing. And the conductor is Jane Glover, conducting the St. Luke's Orchestra. And it's just, this is just a beautiful aria to begin with. It's gorgeous. It's sung in Act 2 by Dalila. And this is the part where she is seducing Samson and trying to get her to fall in love. Trying to get him to fall in love with her for her revenge, and she's trying to figure out where his source of his strength comes from. And so this is the part of the aria where she's seducing him. But just from, I guess, a technical standpoint, like, Jesse Norman is she's just such a master of her voice, and she's just such control of what she can do, and she just commands the French language so well, and because she speaks it fluently, that helps out a great deal. But she's amazing though, and this is one of those performances where it's just like you listen to this and you think, my God, what would it have been to be like in the recital hall that night, like listening to this beautiful, beautiful sound. And those phrases are just so long and luscious, and she just holds them out forever, and it's just gorgeous and it's beautiful. And the acting is great. Her facial expressions are great. Like, everything about this performance is just fantastic. So there's not an audio clip of it, like, by itself that I'm aware of. I've tried to find it. I think it's only on YouTube. So definitely, when you go to YouTube, type in Jesse Norman and type in Samson and Delilah, or you can type in Mon cœur s'ouvre à ta voix. It's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. Another person who sings this exceptionally well is the late great Shirley Verrett. She is fantastic as well. And the video of her is actually her singing it in the it's the stage version. And I want to say the tenor. I don't remember the tenor's name, so I'm not gonna mess it up. But it's beautiful though. And Jessie Norman is one of those singers that she sings soprano and mezzo rep. So like, and Shirley Verrett is actually one of those singers that did soprano and mezzo rep. And so it's just beautiful. Like the voice is just even from top to bottom. The legato is just amazing. The French diction is amazing. The emoting is great. It's just an amazing performance. So please, that's the Rosella Pick of the Week this week is the YouTube video of Jessie Norman singing the Mon cœur s'ouvre à ta voix from Sasson et Delilah by Sasson.
Awesome.
So yeah, short and sweet.
Do you have any events or anything coming up, Fred?
No, Boston Lyric Opera is doing Carmen, and that's in like late September, early October. I'm in the chorus for that, so when it comes closer to time, I'll let you guys know when that is. You can go online and purchase tickets. I can't think of anything else really right now. No.
As for me, Beverly Homecoming is this week, or starts on Friday. So there's actually going to be an operatic thing, which I really don't.
Oh, really? Who's doing it?
You can't hear what I just said. Hopefully, it's just I'm not looking forward to it.
So are they like alumni or homecoming people doing it, or did they like hire outside professionals to come in and do it?
No. This is I'm going to try to be as kind as I possibly can.
Well, who puts on this? It's not an opera.
It's not an opera.
Okay.
It's opera. It's like little short things where people are singing operatic pieces.
Okay, so it's like a concert. Okay.
And so it's just many years ago. If you remember Lori L'Italian, like we covered it a while ago and it was one day, and that turned out really good due to our. But this one is just kind of the woman who headed that is doing this one, and it kind of just throws it together and tries to. It's like square peg round hole. Square peg round hole.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
So yeah, it doesn't quite fit. And so there are things where I would love to see somebody like you go up there, because then that would actually be a draw. But I am not being kind enough. Actually, I'm being, yeah. Take it as you will, audience. But it could be more better professionally run, in my opinion. So that's just me. And if she'd known you were in the area, she would, just never mind. Anywho, so that's, Beverly Homecoming is this week. So if you happen to be in the North Shore area, stop down, look at the site. They have lots of events, mostly concerts, some interesting things with fireworks happening basically 2 Sundays from today. So it's an entire week of just fun stuff going on and activities down at Lynch Park in Beverly. And that just means I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the back of a van sweating my balls off. So.
Yep, you gotta pay that rent.
Gotta pay that rent. Anywho, you can find us on social media. You can find me on Twitter at Jersey Dokes.
And I'm on I'm on Twitter as Opera Mystic and Instagram as Opera Mystic and Facebook Fred C. Baness Jr. Tenor. It's my fan page. And I guess that's it.
So have a good day. God bless.
And ciao for now.